Hey, what is up guys? My name is Oleg. Back to glasses. This is Bond. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to do a full review of Neymar diving watch for $160 US. If you look at the specs of this watch and the price, it's a very attractive timepiece. It has a Seiko NH35 movement, a domed sapphire crystal, stainless steel case with a stainless steel bracelet, and 300 meters of water resistance. All of this for $160 US. So is it actually a good watch or is it just specs? Let's get into the review. Let's start this review as always by looking at the basic dimensions. We have a case diameter slightly over 41 millimeters, a lug to lug width of 50 millimeters. However, the widest points on the case, the protruding lugs, are about 56.5 millimeters apart. The lug width is 22 millimeters and the thickness of 15 millimeters, including the domed crystal. Of course, a lot of the design of this case is based on Tudor Black Bay, which is not a small watch by any means, and this watch here, being an homage to that watch in some aspects, also has that same maybe problem, maybe benefit, depending on your wrist size and your point of view, of being quite a large, substantial timepiece. So we have an all stainless steel case with the stainless steel bracelet. The finish on the case is all brushed. You can even see this bevel here. It has a brushed finish, which is something I haven't seen in a while. Usually this bevel here on the lugs would be done polished to stand out a little bit more. The bracelet I do like, and actually let's talk about the bracelet. So the bracelet features all solid links with the solid end links. The bracelet is substantial. It feels heavy because the top of the watch itself also feels heavy. So I like that they went with a bit of a more substantial bracelet to balance it out. Otherwise the watch would feel way too top heavy. So here it strikes a pretty nice balance. However, here comes my very first negative, is this protruding lug. To some people that might not be a big deal, but just look how much width or height, if you will, this protruding lug gives to the watch. So I measured it to be about 50 millimeters from lug width, from one lug to another, and about 56 millimeters from this point to this point. So it gives another 6 millimeters, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is quite a bit. And another negative I have with the bracelet is this pressed metal clasp. I do wish it was engineered clasp, although the price of this watch is very affordable. It's only $159. So some money savings have to have happened. You can't expect everything in a watch at this price point. I do like the clasp itself. It has this safety fold over with the Neymar logo. It has the two pushers for the release of the clasp. It feels solid on the wrist. It feels secure, but I do wish it was engineered clasp as opposed to being this pressed metal. And at this price point, we're not expecting a screw-in pins. However, these push style pins are jammed in there. They're tight. So I actually broke my pin removal tool trying to adjust this bracelet. Keep that in mind. Be careful with your pin removal tool because this bracelet is one tough cookie. At the 3 o'clock position, we have the crown. The crown is signed with the N for the Neymar. Now, a lot of people asked in the unboxing video for this watch whether Neymar refers to the soccer player, whether this watch, the company, has any relation to the soccer player, and no, they don't. I don't believe it was even named after the soccer player. It just happened to be a coincidence. Now, I do like this crown. It's done really well. It's big, oversized, screw down crown, of course, giving the watch 300 meters of water resistance. Even has the helium escape valve on this side. I'm not sure if it's necessary to have a helium escape valve in a watch like this, but it's something cool to have, something to tell your friends about, I guess. The watch is powered by a Seiko NH35 movement. We all know this movement by now, 24 joules, 21,600 beats per hour, 41 hours of power reserve. Very solid, very reliable movement. Can be found in a lot of great watches. Surprisingly, not a lot of affordable Seiko watches, even though it is a Seiko movement. but that's a conversation for a different video. So yeah, I do like this crown. It's big. I like the fact that it doesn't have any crown guards. Important part of any diver watch is the bezel, and I'm happy to report that the bezel on this Neymar is really good. It's very thin bezel, again kind of paying homage to the Tudor Black Bay heritage, but the bezel doesn't feel like it's hard to grip. Sometimes with very thin bezels, there's not too much grip. This one, there's enough grip, has kind of a coin edge bezel for the grip, and the bezel action is really solid. Just listen to this. You can hear how solid it is. No backplay at all. It's very solid, very satisfying to turn, and actually aligns properly. So let's talk a little bit about the crystal. We have the sapphire crystal. It's a domed sapphire crystal with some AR coating. It looks really good. It fits the design of this watch really well. It gives it kind of that almost a vintage look without the crown guards for the crown and the domed crystal. I really dig the look of this diver. Now, during the unboxing video for this watch, one very good question was brought up from one of the viewers, a supporter of the channel for a long time, and I'd like to address that question right now. And that's the importance of the sapphire crystal in a watch like this, and the importance of a sapphire crystal for a watch of $150 to $200 price range. As we know, a lot of Seikos, a lot of Orient watches are in that price range, but none of them have sapphire crystals, where a lot of these micro brands do have sapphire crystals in a very affordable diver watches. So how important is it to have a sapphire crystal in a watch like this? I think that question is very personal to each one of you. Some people care about it more than others, and I guess it also depends on what purpose you use the watch for. For example, I like to use watches like this, the sub or under $200 price category diver watches, for my summer vacation activities. So to go to the beach, to go to the lake, to go hiking. I played golf in this watch, and I do like the fact that it has sapphire crystal because I never have to worry about scratching the crystal, and I can always be at ease with the fact that I will not damage, at least I won't damage the crystal too much with my activities. Where if I take my Orient Mako 2 or if I take my Seiko SKX, I'm always a little bit more careful. Even subconsciously, I always tend to be more careful with that crystal because it has that mineral crystal or the hardlax, whatever they call it. And that crystal is soft. It will scratch in the sand, it will have a lot of micro scratches, and with time you have to replace it. Not a huge deal, but then it compromises the water resistance and the rest of it. So for me personally, having a sapphire crystal in a watch like this is very important because I will really beat up the watch. I do like this dial. So we have all applied indices for hour markings. We have the 6 and the 9 in Arabic numerals. It kind of throws off the balance of this dial a little bit because you have the 6 and the 9 on this portion of the dial and nothing on this portion because there's the date and then there's the triangle for the 12 o'clock position. So it kind of feels weird, and it takes some getting used to. To be honest, when I just got it, I thought it would bug me a lot more than it does. But after about 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes, you kind of get used to it and you don't even notice this imbalance. Now, if I were to redesign this watch, I would probably get rid of the date window and I would probably put the 3 there so they have 3, 6, and 9. I think it would help with the symmetry of this dial. I would also probably change these Mercedes style hands for the snowflakes hands as is in the Tudor Black Bay, because this watch here is kind of an homage to Tudor Black Bay, but it also has some Rolex Sea Dweller elements in it. It has some Explorer elements with the 6 and the 9. So it's a combination, it's a mixture of a few different iconic watches that are all in one. I think it works pretty well for this design, however it could be improved. So the lume on the watch is pretty good. It's not fantastic. Let me pop a lume shot on the screen right now. It doesn't last for too long, so it's just kind of there. It's not anything extraordinary. So what are my final thoughts on this watch? I do like it. I think it has its place in a collection in the overall world of watch collecting. I think it's a good homage without being a blatant copy of a Tudor Black Bay, and when you wear it on your wrist, I don't think anyone will mistake it, or anyone who knows anything about watches, anyone who knows what a Tudor Black Bay is, wouldn't mistake this for a Tudor Black Bay. So it's kind of its own thing. It is tough. I do like the bracelet. I wish the clasp had engineered clasp as opposed to this pressed metal clasp. Again, some corners were cut, very understandable. It does offer 300 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal, Seiko NH35 movement, all for $160. That's pretty good. And finally, here's what the watch looks like on my 7¼ inch wrist. It fits pretty well. It is a big watch. It's tall, 15 millimeters thick, and this protruding lug and just the long lug to lug width would not necessarily fit guys with the smaller wrists. So if you have a wrist of, let's say, under 6½ inches in diameter, I think the watch might wear a little bit too large for you and might be a bit too uncomfortable. Alright guys, so that was the full review for the Neymar 41½ millimeters diver watch. A pretty good watch if you ask me. I mean, sure, it has some shortcomings, as I mentioned in the review. It does have some negatives, but at $160 for these type of specs, I think you're almost expecting some shortcomings with the watch. I think if you need a watch like this, like a tough, robust watch for everyday wear, for your sporting activities, I don't think you'll be disappointed too much with this one. I appreciate you watching this video until the end. Please leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this Neymar watch, and if you have any experience with other Neymar models. Hopefully I get a chance to review some more of their watches in the future. Let me know if there are any specific models that you are interested in and you would like me to take a look at. By the way, today on my wrist, I'm wearing my Seiko vintage chronograph. I put it back on the metal bracelet. The metal bracelet is not that great, but the watch fits on this bracelet perfectly. Also, in the description of this video, there is a secret link. Check it out. I hope you like this one. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.